Yo, what is going on, guys? This is going to be my Ranger build for the Fate DLC. We're going to be an Imperial Sork, and we chose Imperial for the extra max health and max stamina it gives, along with that juicy extra cost reduction. Our max stats are 15k mag, 35k health, 28k stamina, 1000 mag recovery, 1300 stamina recovery, 4100 weapon damage, with 20% crit, 4k penetration, 16k physical and spell resist, and 17 crit. 100 crit resist unbuffed. Our stats fully buffed up is 6200 weapon damage, 32% crit, 1000 mag recovery, 500 health recovery, 1800 stamina recovery with 25k physical and spell resistance. For the Mundus, we're running the Warrior here for the extra damage it gives. You can choose whatever Mundus you want. It's totally up to you, but I chose the Warrior for the extra damage. We're running Smoke Bear Haunts. Jewels and Mistral is the perfect version of this food, and it works just as well as Smoke Bear Haunts, and it's a lot cheaper, so I definitely recommend using that food source. Then we are Vampire Stage 3. I chose Vampire Stage 3 because when you're below 50% health, you get some nice damage reduction. It scales up the lower health you are, which is very nice to have. Onto our sets here. Our monster set will be Battlers. You can run whatever monster set you want here. I chose to run Battlers for the extra damage, and Guardian for sustain would be good here, or Bloodspawn for more tankiness. It's totally up to you. One Piece Trainee. Then we're running Alchemist on the back bar here, and Way of the Fire on the front bar. I chose to run Alchemist here to give us a massive burst potential when we pop a potion on our back bar, so that's very nice. And then Way of the Fire, I think, is an insane damaging set. It does a bunch of damage for just auto attacking or hitting with one of our bow abilities, so you pretty much will be proccing this all the time, and it's just a big chunk of extra damage for free. And then our mythic is going to be the Pale Order Ring here. I chose this to get some extra healing, but if you don't want to run that, you can run the Markin Ring here for some extra weapon and spell damage, and armor is totally up to you. I personally like running the Pale Order Ring here. It gives you a lot of extra survivability, which is very nice. We'll be running all infused weapon damage glyphs on our jewelry for more damage. For our front bar here, we're running the bow with shock and sharpen. So that's maximum damage you can get on the front bar. Whenever they get hit by a shock glyph, they can take 5% extra damage. So that's very nice to have on a PvP build. And then sharpen for the most damage possible. For our Resto staff, I chose to run Resto here since we're not running tripods. We are running crit pots. And I chose to run a Resto here to help with the mag sustain, so we still get the major savagery buff. And the Resto staff basically gives us infinite magicka, since whenever we heavy with the Resto, we get like 4,000, 5,000 magicka back. So it's super easy to get good mag sustain. Just hit one Resto heavy and you're all the way back at the full. And since you're always playing at range, this is relatively easy to get off. And then for the enchantment, we chose weapon damage enchant glyph to increase our healing and whatnot. Same with powered. I prefer power over defending, but defending is another really good option. It totally comes down to personal preference. I just personally like powered over defending. And then for our armor here, running 3 medium on our boots, waist, and hands here. These are all impen, all prismatic glyphs. And then our heavy pieces are going to be our hands, chest, helmet, and shoulders, all prismatic glyphs as well, with all reinforced to get the maximum amount of armor from them, so we get the maximum amount of resistances. Alright, onto our skills here. I chose to run Magnum Shot. This is our main stun for this ability. It knocks them back 8 meters, so this gives us a lot of cutting potential. Bound Armaments, this is your flex spot here. If you wanted to run tripods and then just run Camouflage Hunter here, just get the major savagery, you can run that instead. But I definitely just prefer Bound Armaments with the Resto staff. You have plenty of mag sustain with the Resto, and this gives you some nice pressure over time, since whenever you activate it, you deal 3,000 damage every 0.3 seconds, and it gives you a nice max stamina increase by 8%. And then Crystal Frags here, this combos well with our Snipe and our Magnum Shot here, because when you use Snipe, you can Magnum Shot, and by the Magnum Shot hits, the Snipe will hit, and you can hit the Frag at the same time. So you're getting these 3 abilities all hitting at the same time on top of your auto attack. So it's a very nice hard hitting combo. And then we have Ball of Lightning here. I chose this one over the other morph because I don't need the stun, and I like the immunity you get whenever you use it. And it allows for you to be extra tanky killer, take some projectiles when you use it. And then Ballista will be our main ultimate here. This does 60,000 damage over 5 seconds. It goes up to 70-80k when we have Alch proc. So this hits very, very hard and deals a bunch of burst damage. Onto our back part here, I chose one Haunting Curse as just another damaging spell. You can proc Haunting Curse and try and get this thing to explode when you go for the stun with Magnum Shot. It does a bunch of burst damage as well. Crit Surge here, will be our major brutality buff, and it gives us a nice bit of extra healing as well. Resolving Vigor here, minor resolve and a good heal. Dark Deal, it's the Sork bread and butter. And the Hurricane here gives us a minor expedition with major resolve. So we have both minor and major resolve. So we are quite mobile on this build, which is very, very nice. And then Light's Champion, I chose to run the Resto alt here because it gives us major force, which increases our critical damage by 20%, which is nice to have a nice damaging buff while being defensive at the same time. But if you don't run that, I definitely recommend running Temporal Guard here. Get the minor protection where you reduce your damage taken by 5%, or you can run one of the other Sork ults if you want as well. It's totally up to you. Onto our CP passes here, running Deadly Aim, Master at Arms here. This gives us a good amount of damage. This affects all our abilities, by the way, if you are wondering. Focus Mending, I chose to run this to give us some extra healing, and since we have Pale Order on, this does increase that healing, so this is very, very nice to have. And then Ironclad reduces our damage taken from direct damage, and pretty much all the damage you're going to be taking in PvP will come from direct damage, so this is a must-have. Onto our red tree here, running Relentless. Being stunned or feared causes you to gain major protection for 3 seconds, reducing your damage taken by 10%. This is really nice because most of the damage you're going to be taking is when you get stunned and you can't block or roll anything, so this helps you get more tanky in those scenarios by taking 10% reduced damage. Pain Refuge here, whenever there's a negative effect on you, you will get 2% extra damage reduction, go up to a maximum of 20%. Since you have no way to cleanse on a Sork, this is very nice to have once again. Sustained by Suffering increases your health, magicka, and stamina recovery by 30 while under the effects of a negative effect. Once again, you always have a negative effect on you, so this will always be up. And then Survival Instinct, one of the best CP passes in the game. You get 25% cost reduction to all your core combat skills whenever there's an elemental status effect on you, and that will always be on you, so always getting that cost reduction. And then for the green tree, I recommend War Mount, Gifted Rider, Rationer, Liquid Efficiency, and Break Fall. And the way you want to set up this build is relatively simple. You want to start by proccing Critical Surge into the Haunting Curse, then using Bound Armaments and just light attacking with Snipe until they get low, and then you go for the Magnum Shot, Snipe Magnum Shot into the Crystal, and that does a bunch of burst damage, and this all hits at the same time. You want to start by putting the Haunting, make sure your Surge is up. You just want to Snipe spam with auto attacks until your Frag is up, and then once your Frag is procced, you go for the Magnum into the Frag, and they'll be stunned, so they'll get hit by the full force of the Frag along with the Snipe, and they'll just take a bunch of burst damage. And if your Haunting Curse hits at the same time, that's also burst stacking along with the Shock Glyph, the auto attack, and the Way of Fire here. You want to see the full damage of Way of the Fire. So our Ballista hits for 77,000. That's what's all ulting with Balorix. That hits very, very hard. And Way of the Fire hits for 4k. So we have really nice damaging abilities on this build. It gives for some nice burst damage. If you guys have any questions regarding the build, I'd be happy to answer anything down in the comments below. And with that, I hope you guys did enjoy the video.